I have two possible titles for this video. The first one, how expensive is Hearthstone? We look at how expensive the game is and then I built the video around that. Title number 2, is Hearthstone pay to win? I think I will probably go with the second title, meaning you can see the title, I can't, I'm in the past. And depending on which one I go with, this might change on how the video is structured. That being said, in case I went with is Hearthstone pay to win? The answer is no. For that I will show you multiple examples, we will talk about things and then the good old making videos, huh? That's what we do. So I already answered it. Why is Hearthstone not pay to win? Pretty simple. If you were to play exactly one deck, and I mean a single deck, let's take like Soul Demon Hunter in Standard or like Token Druid in Wild. You have one specific deck, a single deck that can get you to Legend guaranteed. It is hyper aggressive, all you do is you go face, you ignore everything your opponent does and you will end up in Legend. So you could have a deck list like, I probably insert one right here, or one like this, maybe even that. Isn't that awesome? It could be. And if you play those and you just play enough games, over time you will have a higher win rate than lose rate. And then you right there will be a Legend too. Based on that itself, it's not really pay to win, as you can get to the highest possible rank by just playing a single deck. But that's really boring. And I mean like, so boring that you will probably uninstall the game before you get to Legend. Here are the good news. You can win, and maybe winning is everything you wanted to have in Hearthstone. For me though, right now, I'm losing. I'm farming my quest. I need like another win. If you would like to finish your quests fast, just queue in casual mode and go AFK. Now, while Hearthstone is not pay to win, it's pay to have fun, and that is a very big problem. If you look at the price for a Legendary, for example, let's take Zephrys, a card that you need to play in Highlander decks, you just need to have the card. The card costs 1600 dust to craft, and the chance of getting that card, opening it in a pack is a 1 in 20, plus like a 1 in 23, because there are like 23 different Legendaries in Uldum. If you look at a card like, let's say, Archmage Arugul, as an example, that's also a Legendary. It's terrible, the card sees no play anywhere, but the golden animation is sick. But like Zephrys, it's the same price and has the exact same chance of dropping, which doesn't make any sense. Why is the fun card that can only see play in fun decks nowhere else exactly as pricey as the good card that you kinda need to play? That is, I think, the main reason why people don't really want to play the fun decks. They want to ask for the best deck, they want to win because it's so expensive. But yeah, let's say you want to play a Reno deck or like Cube Warlock. People like Cube Warlock a lot. If you play Cube Block, you have like, I think 7 or 8 Legendaries. And if you play a Reno Warlock deck or like a Reno Mage, you have 15 to 20 Legendaries. So if you take a look at the deck list, you have more Legendaries than non-Legendaries in your deck. The cost to craft all the non-Legendary cards is about like 2000 dust. And to craft like 15 Legendaries, that's 24,000 dust, if you're missing all of them. And if like 100 dust is $1, because you can buy like one pack, which is like 100 dust on average, let's just go with that, you have to pay like $300 for a single deck, which is not even that good. I recently looked at Yu-Gi-Oh prices for like an entire Yu-Gi-Oh deck on eBay, and when I saw the price of like $500 for a complete deck, I was like, damn, that's expensive. I get 40 cards in real life, but for 500? That's not worth it. Who would spend $500 on a game, on a card game? That's unheard of. And then I looked at my full golden Reno Warlock on EU and I was like, oh yeah, me. But here's something good. You don't have to play expensive decks to have fun. You can play cheap decks. For example, my opponent right now, and I'm not making this one up, my opponent just played double Divine Spirit. So if they also have Inner Fire like Topsy Turvy, they just deal 24 damage. Maybe they will play it, maybe not. Anyways, see, that's a rare card. That's a rare card. That's like a basic card, or now a common card. That's pretty cheap. And they have Inner Fire. They could have used it last turn. Anyways, as you can tell, you don't need to play expensive things to have fun or to win games. But here's the thing. If you want to play all those fun meme decks that you see Ruffle play, Dane play, or me play, even if it's some random meme deck like Highkeeper Ra in Rogue, or like Big Rogue, or let's say Galakrond, Cthulhu, Shadowwalk Shaman, you need a ton of Legendaries. And for that, the game is really pay to have fun. It is hard to have fun in the game, over and over, by investing close to no money. The thing you can do is you can craft a card like Renounced Darkness or Shadow Council, which is just an epic or 2 epics if you craft both. And you then get a bunch of random for your deck. But you can also get like Zalian, get 5 different decks that are the exact same for whatever reason for over a year now. Or you craft Whispering and get up to 20 different decks. So that's an option to play standard decks, maybe in Wild. So in that regard, the game is not pay to win and not pay to have fun. You invest close to nothing. But you still have to invest. What I like a lot about League of Legends, and I haven't played the game in a long time, is that every single week you have a free champion rotation, meaning that 10% of all the characters that you can play in the game are free to use. Hearthstone is missing that. you can't just play a deck for free unless you have a friend that you can borrow the deck from and just play against them. You could say that you can play in adventures and get the deck of an adventure boss against another NPC, but in that case you also have to buy the adventure. And when I look at duels right now, where you can build your own deck, you first of all have to have access to duels, which right now is through Twitch drops, I guess watch me on Twitch or whatever, and then get disappointed because you don't get a drop. Or you have to pre-order the expansion, and even if you have access to duels, you still need to own the cards to use in duels. It's like owning the cards for Tavern Brawl. The more I think about this, the more I feel like Hearthstone is really just paid to have fun. Like more and more. When I started up playing the game, I didn't invest any money, which is a lie. On the very first weekend, I spent $100 on packs. But that was the only time I purchased anything in the game up until TGT, which was in August 2015. And I started playing in February. So after getting like 80 classic packs, in which I opened, I think, Jaraxxus and Onyxia, which I didn't use for anything, the only deck I really played for the first year was a mid-range Paladin. This was all I could play in the entire game. I had like Zoo Warlock because most of the cards were like commons or rares, but the only deck with legendaries, which had like Tyrion and like Dr. Boom, Sylvanas and Ragnaros, was mid-range Paladin. That was the only deck I could play. And thinking back to it, I had fun. I had fun playing exactly one class, which is like my EU account right now, in which I only play Warlock. The reason why all my Warlock cards are golden is I disenchant all the other class cards. I just have Warlock cards, they're golden. It's more fun. But for that, I need to be dedicated to only play one single class and nothing else. If I were to play like two classes, I wouldn't have enough dust. If I want to play a bunch of different decks, a variety of decks and classes, that wouldn't work unless I invest money. I get the question a lot, how much money I invested in the game or how much money I spent. And my usual response is you shouldn't ask how much I spent, you should ask how much I make. And then if you ask how much I make, I say enough so my investment was worth it. Do with that whatever. But in short, a couple thousand. Yep, spend a couple thousands on digital virtual cards that I can't have in real life. But I also make videos so I make money through this. Like the whole spending money part on the game for me doesn't really matter, considering that it is literally my job to talk about the game and to play the game and stuff. By the way, finished my quest. Now I got 1,000 gold. Wow, we could buy 10 packs with that. In the new system, probably a couple more. But for most of you, you're either casual players. I would assume that over 60% of you don't even play the game anymore because it's too expensive, or you don't like the RNG part in there. And the ones of you who do pre-order, you pre-order like 80 packs, maybe even both pre-orders. You don't spend $200 to $300 every single expansion. That is like the 0.1% of Hearthstone players, which I'm part of, I guess. Now, it's easy to talk, it's easy to complain, but it's hard to find solutions. So let me try to find one. Number one, update Whizbang in two ways. First off, make it so that you can choose the deck that you would like to play. Meaning that when you play Whizbang in Standard, which first of all should be a standard card, that should be the first change, you can choose the class you play and maybe make it a 50-50 with the deck, or you just get the deck for free. When you have Whizbang, you can just select it. Second thing for Whizbang, or now third thing, make Whizbang different in Wild than it is in Standard. And maybe even with the concept of having a couple decks for free in the game, like the League of Legends example that I gave earlier, maybe make it so that Whizbang shifts every single month or like every 2 weeks. So you can test the deck, like one per class, for 2 weeks, have all the cards available, and then just get the next one and the next one. So you can form your own opinion whether or not you should spend money on the game and should craft any of the decks. Next thing, duels should not be with cards that you have in your collection. Duels should be, you have access to it, you can play it, like Battlegrounds. If you look at Twitch at the moment, like 16 out of the top 20 streamers play Battlegrounds. 1 plays Arena, 2 plays Standard, and 1 plays Wild. Or Awful, when whoever's online at the time. 80% of the top Hearthstone streamers already only play Battlegrounds because it's free. And it might be more fun than random and Standard into random and Wild into random and laggies. But the great thing about Battlegrounds is you only have to spend like 2,500 gold for your Tavern Pass to get like options to choose between like 4 different heroes and stuff. But that's all you ever have to spend, and that's in-game gold, which you can easily get by finishing your daily quests for like a month. But if you play Wild and you want to play a fun deck, that doesn't really work. Like the number one thing I would suggest for new players, actually for any player, if you were to open the first 10 packs of any expansion, so you get a guaranteed legendary. That works for both new and old sets. Build a deck around the card you just opened, just for fun. Even if it's the Boogie Monster, even if the card is completely useless, just try to find a way to build a deck around that and play for fun. Like, shall we take a look at my Arena Warlock list? I recently crafted something in Golden for that. That was Curse of Our Farm. And then I thought, hey, it's only common. It's actually helpful considering that nobody plays around getting cards added to their hand. So they burn a couple cards every now and then when you face like slower opponents. But I also crafted Normal Raw Farm in Golden. And I have to say, the card is terrible. The card is not good, but he's so much fun to play. You get 3 different artifacts that you can choose from. So it's a unique effect to the card. And in golden, he looks so pretty. But the card is bad. The card is just not good. If you want to have an optimized deck, you never include rough farm. Which is why I'm wondering, why do I get 400 dust if I disenchant my normal rough farm, but I also get 400 dust if I disenchant a card like Zephyrus? Why are all those cards considered legendaries, even though some of the legendaries are like 10 times better than the bad legendaries? Like, there are at least 200 common cards in this game that are just better than rough farm. Why are the common cards worth 40 dust if you craft them, but the legendary is 1600? Why can't I craft a fun card that is terrible for less dust? Which brings me to my final idea on how to fix this. Listen, if you ever like the concept of making money and you heard of day trading and like stonks going up there, you will love this idea, okay? This idea is called a Hearthstone card market. You could have a player-based auction house where you can sell your own cards. So if you have a card like Nat the Darkfisher, which is garbage, you could trade the card for, let's say, 500 dust. You know you get your 400 dust guaranteed, because it is a legendary when you disenchant that, but another player could buy the card from you for 500 dust. So you make 100 extra dust, and the other person gets the card for 1100 less. Wouldn't that be great? Probably not all would already exist, but I think that's a cool idea. Imagine you could day trade in Hearthstone to get more dust, and then you can just craft more stuff in golden. Or like you buy a bunch of cards right now. This is actually a story that Rainer told when he started streaming. He was really good at Magic when he started streaming, and he built a deck around a really bad card. He bought like 100 copies of that card for like 4 cents each, built a deck around that card to make it broken, played the deck to like top ranks, and then because people noticed that the deck is great, and there's this one really bad card in there that nobody else plays, they all wanted to buy that card, and the only person that owned that card was Reinhardt. So imagine you have like 280 Ogre Mantas and 55 Gruuls, and now because of Ruffle making an all Ogre and Gruul deck, the price goes up there. You could sell those for a profit. I think that would be sick for Hearthstone. That would be great. Or just put a system in place where if you open a legendary, you don't open the card itself, but you open something like a legendary orb, like something that you can trade in like a ticket for a legendary of your choice from that expansion. That would be a lot better, I guess. So even if you get a bad legendary, you could just have the orb and either get a good one or get a bad one, but of your choice. Because if I force you to open Ascent more in TGT, instead of, let's say, Justica Trueheart if you want to play Deadman's Hand Warrior, then what do we get? We get somebody who just opened garbage and is going to get 400 dust. But yeah, that's my ramble about the price of Hearthstone, which is way too high. It should be cheaper. I asked my chat about the price of Cyberpunk 2077 whenever that gets released. They said the game is like 60. How is the game $60, but I spent 100 something on this, which I can't even open? And if I, as the person that makes content for Hearthstone, has the mentality that this game is way too expensive and this is worth 2 Cyberpunks right there, I would rather have Cyberpunk than cards. And I think most of you would agree on that. You would rather have like a full game experience or like every card from the upcoming expansion than a small part of the cards from the next expansion that you can't even choose from that are random, and you're probably going to miss a bunch of rares and most epics, and then you can lose to RNG. Every time I make a video in this style, I wonder why I still play Hearthstone. Because I like it so much. I love it. That being said, I have some news for you, perhaps. So you know in the Battle.net launcher, which looks like this. This is, by the way, the beta version. Click on the top left corner, click on settings, and then the bottom left it says beta. You can switch to the beta version. It just looks better. You see those buttons right here, right? Like those articles and sometimes the link to YouTube videos. I maybe, perhaps, have the opportunity for the next expansion to make a really epic video that gets right here. That might be right there. So if you open your Battle.net, you can see this guy. And if you hate me and usually dislike my videos, well, I guess I will be smiling towards you. I think I will make a video about like meme decks you can play with legendaries that nobody likes. Something. Might get approved, maybe not. But your boy might be soon in the launcher. And if I'm not in there, then you can call me a liar. A bunch of you aren't subbed, you can always change that. It's just one click away and my shelf is still half empty. I gotta put some stuff in there and I want the 100k plaque so I can put that in there, look at that twice and be like, wow, a number. You can like, comment, whatever. I will now go back to waiting for my next package to arrive. Last time I bought Shadowmon and Frostmon as real life replicas. This time I bought something else. My favorite Pokemons. It's called Honchkrow. It's a bird with a hat from Generation 4. I bought a PSA rated Gem Mint 10 Rainbow Rare Honchkrow. And it looks pretty and it should arrive in the next, I don't know when. And while I'm waiting for that, I will edit this video and would say, do you think the game is too expensive? Because I think it is. Take care.